Boys Mentorship Program, the idea of mentoring young men came after looking at my life, and then I looked at those people that are coming after me, the young men that are coming after me. It's not just the Boys Mentorship Program, but for me, each time I look around, I want to mentor those young men. I want to create a center for mentoring young men. Because if a young man is not mentored, they're going to experience a lot of problems in future. If a young man is not mentored, then the nation is going to be struggling, or the nation is going to be suffering, because men are born leaders. They're born to lead. They're not born leaders, but they're born to lead. Leaders are made. And if we think of, or if we have any idea of having our sons to be leaders, we have to continuously put in effort to mentor them, to make them. When I look at the word mentorship, many people have been asking me, why not girls? Why not girls? Why not girls? But at one time I didn't have the answer. But I kept on telling these people that, you know what, girls are mentored every day. Situations mentor them, their mothers mentor them. But with a boy child, very little mentorship happens there. Moreover, men need mentorship. When you look at the word mentorship, leave alone boys mentorship, but when you look at mentorship, look at this syllable. If I could put this in red, you will understand that this is mentorship. In other words, the word mentorship makes much more meaning when it's men, when it's a boy child. Women, still the man has to be at the end. So, in every program that I come up with, right now we are participating in the Boys Mentorship Program, and we are in Mpoma. Thanks to people from Binsika International that allowed us to come here, and York Mixed Farm, they allowed us to come. Each time I contact these people and I tell them the need for mentoring, the need to allow these young men to participate in work, to dig around, to slash around, to feed the chicken, to pick and to clean poultry houses, and to pick dung and to collect dung, poultry dung, and pile it and put it in a banana garden, and all that. I want these boys to be able to participate, to feel that the world is not all that smooth. When you look at this young man, let's say if you're a parent and you're watching this, and your mom or your dad, and you look at this young man, let's 5 years, 8 years, 7 years, do you ever think that this boy is going to be able to lead a family tomorrow? When you're training this young man, when you're caring for this young man, do you put it in mind that my son is going to be a family leader tomorrow? Because if you don't have that in mind, it becomes so hard for you to start mentoring that young man. And that's why I put up this program, to be able to mentor these young men, to teach them that, to awaken them, to let them know that tomorrow you're going to be leading a certain group of people. You're going to be in charge of a household. And that means that you'll be taking care of people. You will be in charge of providing food. You'll be in charge of giving school fees. You'll be in charge of disciplining. You'll be in charge of let's say 3 or 4 or 5 people. They will be under your charge. So what are you doing today? The aim of the Boys Mentorship Program was to bridge that gap. Of course, we cannot bridge it to the extreme, but was to bridge that gap. The aim of the Boys Mentorship Program is to train boys to be leaders of tomorrow, to teach them, to make them understand that you are a leader, and you are a leader in a home, in a society, in a community, in a nation. You are a leader, to train them those leadership skills that they need, to teach them and to show them that you're a leader. If you don't mentor your young man, you are preparing that boy to live an expensive life. So our young men, like you've seen, they're picking eggs, they're digging around, they're slashing around. It's not just to waste time, it's to train them. It's to train them responsibility, to have responsibility, and to know that life has got consequences. And that's what we are training boys. Life has got consequences. Life has got rules. Teach boys to follow these simple rules. Don't talk when the elder is talking. Raise up your hand if you're like where we are in Binska right now. It says, dip your gumboots before you proceed. That's a simple rule. It's a rule. You don't say, no, I'm so special. And you as a parent, you don't tell your kid, no, you don't need to do. No, everyone is supposed to do that. If you can't, then stay behind. I've seen a lot of young men that have been put in prison just because they were never taught to follow basic rules, to follow life's basic rules. I mean, basic rules. Schools have got basic rules. You pay attention to those rules. Sit in class means sit in class. Read your books means read your books. Pay attention. That's just plain simple. Rules are rules. Teach them to follow rules. If we don't train our sons to follow rules, they will be disobedient. And when they become disobedient, no one will be able to employ them. Most of you parents that are watching this, you're in big corporations, you're working in big companies. And what has sustained you there is because when you were growing up, your parents taught you how to follow simple rules. Your mom or your dad used to come back and say, before he was leaving, she was leaving to go to work, could tell you that, clean this veranda, clean the house. And you had to abide by that. You had to make sure that you clean. But you know, tell your son today that I want you to sweep this veranda. I want you to sweep the compound. Are you sure that you're going to find the veranda swept? Are you sure that you're going to find the bedroom? To an extent whereby your son sleeps in a bedroom and they cannot even lay the bed? The housemaid is the one in charge of laying the bed? The housemaid? Will that boy be able to lead a family tomorrow? Okay, well, he's going to be a priest like you keep on saying. But will he, you mean priests don't sleep? Yeah? A point whereby your son cannot even prepare breakfast for you. Okay, not for you. Your son cannot even prepare breakfast for himself. He wakes up, before even he greets you, he gets into the sitting room, he sits down, pulls out the PS3, starts playing the PS3, and he waits for Auntie so-and-so to come to call upon him. Richard, come for breakfast. And he says, I'm coming. I'm coming. How many of your parents that are watching this were treated in that way? How many? How many of your parents that were treated in that way, whereby the housemaid, okay, we used not to call them housemaids, we used to call them auntie, is in charge of calling you for breakfast? Is in charge. Yes, well, you're saying that the generation has changed. Generation has changed, but values still stand. The values don't change, because values are who we are. A point whereby your son cannot even lay the bed. They cannot even wash their boxers. When you get to that level, just know that things are not good. They cannot even lay the bed where they sleep. That's the first stage of responsibility. It's you who puts on this boxer. It's you who puts on this vest. Can you wash this vest? Okay, well, let's look at the other part of if it's clean or not clean later. But at least the ability to be able to have the love, the responsibility to wash the vest, to wash the undergarments. That's responsibility. That's where it starts. That's where it starts.